Welcome to Coach's Corner, Cat fans. Thanks for joining me on this, again, Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock with Mike Spriggs here in the CPAC. Today we're going to review the Delphos St. John game that was up in Delphos, preview the New Bremen game, look at a couple spotlight players, Braden Klosserman and Will Fox, mention Corey Klinky as a coach's spotlight, and then do something a little different we've never done before. I'm going to show you a little bit of film and kind of how good the technology is from the old days, and how we prepare and what we can see during the game on the sidelines, and also then when we prepare for teams, and that'll be at the end there. So that might be kind of interesting. Just 4, 5, 6 plays on the TV monitor that we have here in the CPAC. Just you can see what we show our players and how we kind of can see things so clearly that really help our kids get to be better players, where they can really see things really clearly. So the Delphos St. John game was at Delphos, and they have the new turf. I think last year was the first year, so really nice facility now. They have a pretty nice locker room and lots and lots of space with their turf on the sidelines, so you can keep your guys back far, and just a nice field, real nice new scoreboard. So just good situation, good facility there in Delphos. The score was 34-3. It was an interesting, a little bit frustrating at times for us. Delphos always is really well coached. Coach Schulte does a great job with his guys, and they always play hard, and they figure things out to keep the games close, and so they on offensively, they take a lot of time. They take the whole clock. They look over and get their plays, and then they'll act like they're going to start to play and look back over and change the play and things like that. So they took a lot of time off the clock, and so we didn't have quite as many possessions as we would like in the first half. But when we did, we got a couple scores. Unfortunately, I think one time we had a 1st and goal on the 4-yard line and didn't score. So that was a little frustrating, but in the second half we had a good drive right coming out of the half and scored, and then Shane Ontrop, who's an offensive guard, played a little bit more defense, and he's going to have to probably these last 3 games. We had a possible injury, we're not sure, on one of our defensive ends, so we'll see if he's going to return. But Shane is a good solid defensive end, but we tipped the ball at the line, and he caught it at about the 15 and made a real good run, and it's just kind of fun to see a defensive lineman get a touchdown. We actually had two interceptions by defensive linemen. Isaac Schreier also tipped one to himself, actually, in the last drive of the game, and so that was kind of cool to see Isaac make a big play. So we felt pretty good about the game. Unfortunately, we had a couple of those injuries. Like I said, I'm not going to say too much about those because we're not sure. They have MRIs and X-rays and all that kind of stuff today to see what the extent of the injuries, but hopefully they'll be okay. Speaking of injuries, we do get Jack Broering. Joggy is his nickname. He's an outside linebacker and inside receiver. Probably focus more on defense because he's going to have a club on his hand. He broke his thumb a while back. Unfortunately for him, he gets to come back and start playing. And Curtis Dewar, who's one of our corners and receivers at times when in certain formations. So we'll get those 2 back for this week, so that'll really help with some depth at outside linebacker and corner and receivers. So that's a good thing. Preview. This week we play New Bremen. New Bremen comes in at 6-1. Really good football team. They did lose to Marion, but they beat Versailles. So as you know, we have the New Bremen, Versailles, Marion, these last 3. But they are really explosive on offense. Quarterback and running back, they're both really good, kind of all league kind of players, and maybe even all state kind of players that are really good. Their quarterback Holman is very similar to our quarterback Marcel. Both really good runners, typically the fastest guy on the field. And in any game, they're both number 5. They're both about the same, look very similar in their uniforms. They're both, 6 foot, 6'1", kind of lean, muscular, just really good athletes that can really make plays. And their running back is a a 5'8", 185-pound fire plug that is a good runner. Defensively, they give you some problems. That we've seen lots of three-man fronts, and some of the three, four teams, as we say, play pretty standard or safe, I guess. But they'll take some chances and they'll blitz a lot. So that always puts some stress on the O and the especially the offensive lineman and the fullback, who has to pick up some of those blitzes on passing. So it just makes it more difficult. If they can catch you and get you in a loss of yardage plays, and then it makes it a little bit more difficult to call plays, and the execution when you don't know exactly where they're coming from makes it a little more difficult. So hopefully we can get a handle on that and practice, have a good week of practice and play well. So we have senior night on Friday for this home game. We also have one of my favorite games of the year. We have Dad's Night, where the senior dads come in to our pregame talk and pregame preparation. We call it calling up the teams and all that kind of stuff. Then they can come out and watch warm-ups on the field, whatever they want to do, and then hopefully we'll win, and they can come in and celebrate with us after the game. And win or lose, they're welcome to come after the game and see how we kind of operate. It's just always a fun thing, and to bring the dads in and have a talk and things like that. So that'll be fun there. Spotlight players. We have Braden Klosserman, who's number 57, and Will Fox, who's number 64. So we're getting close to the end with the seniors. A couple more weeks, we'll finish them off. Braden is a starting offensive guard for us and plays a little bit of defensive tackle to give Will and Big Evan some breaks on defense. But Braden is a football and track guy. He's a thrower in track. But Braden has really improved throughout this year. And just talking to him the other day, he loves when he gets to pull and kick guys out. And he's done a really good job. He's a really athletic, 220-pound, really probably only 5'9" maybe, but is a good athlete with good feet. And really enjoys it and has played really well. So hats off to Braden, as he's really improved throughout the year, and can really count on him. Will Fox is number 64, and Will is our starting right tackle, right next to right next to Braden, and also plays defensive tackle. He and Evan Homan are the starters, and then we rotate to give those guys some breaks. Will was probably one of our best surprises last year, as he turned out to be an offensive line starter. And this year he's playing a lot more defense. And so Will's done a really good job at that right tackle spot. He and Evan kind of run the show of the O line, and have become really good friends and lifting partners. So he's playing really well. He is also a really good wrestler. He was a state qualifier at the heavyweight division last year, and I think he's actually going to wrestle below the heavyweight. I think go down to 215 pounds, I think, and maybe give him a better shot at getting a better placement at the state. So hats off for Will for being a two-sport guy, and hopefully he continues like last year and makes another state appearance during wrestling. So Braden Klosserman and Will Fox right next to each other, 57 and 64 on the offensive line. Coach's Spotlight, Corey Klinky. Corey's been with us about, probably 10 years. As you know, if you're a Coldwater person, Corey was a football, baseball guy here, and was a quarterback for us back in the 2007-8 season. We won a state title in 2007, and then senior year they lost, I think, in the regional finals to a real good Alter team. Corey went on to play baseball at Miami University. Miami baseball probably a little bit more of his favorite as a player, but was really good at both. Corey coaches the quarterbacks and the corners. Corey is a math teacher at the high school, so he gets to see the kids all year long, and has a good relationship with his quarterbacks and corners, and he's the youngest of us. I think Corey will be 30. I think he's 31 now, maybe 32. So he's the youngest. I'm the oldest, And so he does a good job with our guys, and hopefully we'll have him for a lot of years down the road. So Corey Klinky. So our game this Friday is home. Like I said, it's senior night. It's also dad's night in the locker room. Game time is 7 o'clock. I think last week I mentioned 7:30. I don't know why. But 7 o'clock home this week versus New Bremen. So now we're going to pause for a second and pull up some film for you so you can get a little taste of what we call Hudl, H-U-D-L. And this is how everybody in the state has Hudl to show film and trade film and all those types of things. Okay, guys, we're back. Like I said, we're going to try something new today and just give you a little insight of how we watch film and watch our players and help the players and trade film and watch other teams. So on the screen up here on the right, you know, this is the Bell Fountain. This is the Bell Fountain game on the screen, and we have all the different games, opponent scouts, as you can see here. There's all the different teams, and then when you click on those, we can go and get all the different teams that they played. And I'll talk about a little bit later how all this information that's down at the bottom here, we can calculate that into what do they do on down distance, favorite plays, formations, and all kinds of things we can do with that. So and that, of course, that goes to every game. So you see Fort Recovery, Anna, and then I can click on each one of these, and so the New Bremen was pulled up because that's who we play. So I could look at all the different things there. But let's go to Bell Fountain. I did it on turf because it's a little bit clear, and we have all the information filled out. So we fill all this information in after the game and when we watch other teams' games. So now this can get blown up. And you'll see how big it is and clear. Now, because it's during the day, you got a little sunlight, but I can work, just with the mouse or just with the up and down arrows. So as we watch a play here, okay, up at the very top, I'll pause it here. We can pause and fast forward in slow motion. At the top, what we have up here, 2nd and 12, left hash, ball's on the 35. It's a pass. It was incomplete. And the play is, for us, trips. We got 3 guys out here, so we call that 31. And then curl. The play itself is called curl. So then we watch the play. And this is the wide version from the press box. Okay, and so this is a pass, and so we can watch and say, okay, you did this well, did this not so well. Unfortunately, this guy made a really good play here, about 2 inches from a touchdown. But then what's cool is we have the end zone camera. So now we do this mainly for the linemen, especially for the linemen. So we get that camera right up close. So now we can watch what the lineman's steps are. We can say, okay, right here, Luke Sudoff. That's a really good job right here of picking up a blitz. If I wanted to, I could draw on this. You know, I could circle Luke and say, good job, Luke, there it is right there. And I can do all kinds of things and then undo it, right? So we can do all kinds of things there. So that was the pass play. We would talk to our old lineman about good job right there, keeping your guy in front of you and nice pocket and all kinds of things, and it can get pretty technical after a while. And you can see, obviously, they tipped it. So we come back, 3rd and 12, and we ran a couple seam routes. You know, each week we have plays that we think can work. So, oops. In this case, we feel like we have a pretty good matchup. We have a 3-on-3, but we know this guy's not going to go deep. So in this route, Braden is going to run right up the middle, right at this safety, and occupy him. We have Joggy running right up the chute, and then we have our wideout out here. I don't know if that's Evan. That might be Evan. I think it's going to run it out and occupy this guy. And so our quarterback will read this guy. And decide who he wants to throw it to. In this case, makes a good Good throw, good catch by Jack. And then we'll go to the end zone part of it again for the protection part. So here's some of the things that you have to practice. You're going to see right here, these two guys right here do what we call a switch. He comes and inside and he goes outside, because on paper it looks like, well, you're going to block him and you're going to block him. But they can do whatever they want and go wherever they want. So you can see that these two guys switched, and so our linemen just switch. And those are things that you see on film the week before, and you practice, and you say, okay, you know, they're going to do this sometimes. You got to prepare for it and practice it. Good job by Marcel. Gets a little depth. He gets turned. Okay, and he sees that safety. He's probably going to read this guy, and like we said, Braylon's going to go inside of him, and if he runs with him, he feels like that hole will be open. If this guy were to get a lot of width, well, Braylon might come open right down the middle. So that's a good visual right there. And good throw and a really good catch. Okay, one last play here. I think we score on this play. Okay, this is called a bunch formation. We're all bunched together, and we run different things there to try to get the defense to do something that maybe, you know, that will help us make a play. You're going to see Braden. Braden's going to pull and kick out. And I don't know how great this was blocked. I guess not great because of the communication between Luke's actually supposed to go Braden's supposed to go first and kick him out and lead up, but sometimes the way they line up or way they blitz, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So they adapted on the fly, and that's just a really good run by Marcel. So on paper, Braden is supposed to block this guy right here, but because he went inside, our tackle knows he's going to take him, so he will just continue, and this is early in the season, so sometimes this is the coaching part of it. You know, Braden should really go around Evan, which I think he does a little bit late, but as you see it more and practice more, you get a lot better at it. And then Luke really was supposed to go up in the hole. So that gives you a little bit of insight on how we kind of use Hudl, and the defense can find out all kinds of information on tendencies and things like that. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and maybe I'll show some more film next week. So that's how good the technology has gotten over the years to really help us coach our guys up to keep getting better each week. So Friday night versus New Bremen at 7 o'clock.